They inspire me to do better. Holy. Hello, welcome everybody to the Habitual Overcomers Podcast, Episode 5. Today's topic, creativity and originality in Hollywood. Is there any left? I'm your host, Toots McAbernathy, and with me as always, my co-host and very dear, close, and personal friend, Keith Creator.
Sup?
So let's get this party started here. Let's go ahead and what's your favorite movie? Or do you have one?
Tough, dude.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what? I don't, because it's constantly evolving. Like there's my favorite movie, and then there's like movies that I'm okay watching more than once.
Right. Which is actually several.
You know?
No, I do. I understand that completely, and that's several movies for me.
For some reason, I can watch the movie Cars 8,000 times in a row, and I don't know if that's like an MK Ultra thing, but it's the best movie ever made to me, and I don't know why, but you know. Other than that, like realistic movies is what I go for, like action movies. You know, I watch a lot of those at work. Like one week, I sat down at work and I decided to watch every Tom Cruise movie on Amazon Prime.
Amazing.
And I learned a lot about Tom Cruise. I did, and he became one of my top 5 actors because I kind of, didn't. I had like, I don't know. Yeah. I like Tom Cruise, but he just kind of was the same to me in all his movies.
No, I understand completely.
But then I saw like Valkyrie and all those like breakdown on Amazon Prime, and it was really nice.
Well, the guy takes his job very seriously.
Impossibles.
Yeah, he takes his job, his career very seriously. And when somebody does that, even if our ideals aren't always eye to eye, I respect that.
Yeah. And I bought the new Mission Impossible whenever it got released to Amazon Prime. I bought it right away so I could watch it because I was already caught up. Speaking
of Mission Impossible, that was one of the movies I went and saw in theaters, I believe, right around, was that 1994? Something around there, the original Mission Impossible.
And that's the thing, you guys, Toots' movie knowledge is probably top 100 in the world. And I say that respectively. And I say that so you know that I'm serious, because I said top 100. So realistically, that's what I really think it is.
Yeah.
It's that insane. The quotes, the be able to pinpoint actors, actresses, just it's a little different, and you'll learn that about him. And, but I think that when it comes to movies and creativity now, I think that we're going to have a boom. And when it comes to the movies that you're used to and the movies that I'm used to are like watered down versions of your movies,
Yeah.
So I don't, my opinion can't go but so far.
Right. I understand. And yeah, and I appreciate that. Very kind words from Keith there. But a little background into me. I kind of grew up in the Hollywood scene a little bit. So it was very important to me to get a lot of knowledge of Hollywood and understand it. I took acting classes, and so I took it very seriously. I did a lot of improv, and just was in that whole scene for a while. And then we'll just say some negative things happened. Not to me, but to my dad at the time, because he was the one who was, with me, helping me do all that in that world. And then that was it. It was like in the blink of an eye. But I always took just knowing movies, watching movies, and learning the actors and actresses, and understanding the movies more deeply, and memorizing those key lines in movies to use them and things like that in conversation. So yeah. Nice. Very kind words.
He uses a lot of that, those techniques in our just daily conversations, because it's just part of him. And, he'll say words backwards, or, flip sentences around on you, and it just fucks you up every once in a while.
Can't rain all the time.
Yeah. So it's just, that's
just
how he works.
Quote from the movie The Crow, the original Crow movie, by the way, you guys.
Yeah, and so you told me to watch that. I remember that, and I think I did, but I can't remember. See, that's where I differ. Like, I just can't. I struggle to remember all this shit like you do.
Brandon Lee, Ernie Hudson, let's see, was there anybody else in there of notability? I can't remember, but definitely those two. Great movie. Absolutely loved it. Loved the soundtrack. Dressed up as the Crow after that movie for Halloween about 8 years in a row. So that was a pretty big,
Wow,
that was a pretty, um, you know,
it was a big
impressionable.
influence.
Yeah, it was a big influence. That movie was. I was very impressionable at that age. So boom, we nailed. I paint the
Yeah.
face white, put the black coming down from the eyes, and we went to it.
See, and nowadays it's like the movies they I don't know what it is today where they just want to make every scene dark as possible or as dark as possible. It's just I cannot stand that anymore. I just can't. It's where I'm watching a movie at work or something. Not that I watch movies at work, but I watch a movie at
Yeah, we
work
don't do
and
that.
it'll be dark as fuck, right? And I'm like, man, like why is every scene in a dark tunnel and like none of the shot because the cameras are so good
Yeah.
and you'll pick up on everything. So they have to hide it all. And back then they didn't have to do that. You know, it kind of immersed you a little more.
Yeah, I agree
You
with
know,
that. And also
so
too, there's something about the way they're filming like fight scenes and action scenes, especially in like either high CGI movies or just movies with a lot of action, that is like it's blurry almost. It's like it blurs through these scenes that these actions that you should be you should be it's very a visual moment. I think they're missing out on it with that fast pace action quick cut CGI style of scenes they're doing. And mainly it's with like Marvel movies and stuff like that where there's heavy like crazy action going on. Sometimes it's very difficult to see that the way they're doing the cameras now.
yes. Yeah, I mean, Marvel Rivals, the game is impossible to understand. You know what I mean? If you just take somebody and show them a highlight of it, it's like, I don't understand. It's just a like craziness on the screen. And that's pretty much where anybody that's not in that realm or used to seeing it comes from. And it's like John Wick, right? Where it started as him like, being really good shooting people, outsmarting people, to now he's got a suit that blocks bullets, to now he uses swords, to, now he's dead,
Well, I agree with
and
that. Yeah. And but movies like that, they got to be careful because when they want to make five sequels, they have to push it further. And that happens with that. And
yeah,
then it
why didn't they
becomes
just make them the same?
not
Just make them
they lose
smart.
it was already unrealistic. Let's be honest, the movie was already unrealistic.
Yeah,
It's crazy to think that
yeah,
one guy's going to go and kill 30 or 40 or 50 trained soldiers. It's a Star Wars style. They all shoot but none of them hits him,
but
but his bullet hits every time. But that's okay. I like that.
instead,
That's not bad. But then to go even more far-fetched, you're pushing away from reality. And I think John Wick was one that it was kind of just on the edge of reality enough that you thought that you could be him, right? You thought, man, I
yes,
could do
and
that.
yeah, and they did that because instead of going for the creativity of, the John Wick character, they want to create a system of people that you want to know the backstory of so that they can create backstories and make more money.
Yeah. Or create
And that's pretty
another
much what John Wick was.
yeah, create another movie or whatever like this Ballerina, which I haven't watched, so I can't
That's why
comment on that.
that's why John Wick had the Continental, it was the hotel and
Hmm.
all ran out of hotel. And I think he actually has a sideshow, you know what I mean? So I mean it's just like that right there. Like why couldn't they just focus and just work on one project and then let it
Yeah.
end? Like don't jump the shark as Happy Days would say,
Yeah. Speaking
you
of
know.
that, the Continental, the guy that runs that in John Wick, he's a great actor too. I can't remember his name, but he's
See, that's what they do.
I really
That's what
like
they do.
him.
They now you want to see how he got to that point in if a show came out of how he got to that point,
Yeah. It's
right?
it's the whole Better
Then
Call
you would probably
Saul
watch it, right?
scenario. I think
Yeah.
that Better Call Saul is probably one of the biggest shows that came from another show that had its own fame and popularity without the other show completely. It did great. I mean, what a fantastic show that was. So,
Yeah, I love Better Call Saul so much.
yeah.
I do.
Yeah, it was great.
It's
Good
and
writing,
I just love
smart.
the wittiness of it.
Very
Yeah.
smart. Yeah. I like it too a lot.
And see, they focused and I like it because they focused on the show and they let it end. Really.
Yeah.
But
Well, we knew that it was going
and
to
it's
end inevitably because we know that what happens and they're
yeah.
not going to be able to play, Breaking Bad again. And so,
Yeah, and so they're forced to write a good story,
Yeah.
and that's it. They have an ending. If they didn't have an ending, then as soon as it got running and it got popular, Game of Thrones style, then they're gonna start sucking it for money,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much what'll kill a show or turn a show or ruin a show or
Yeah.
you
Which
and
a la kind of like what happened with Yellowstone, I think, is what you're saying. A show that started out brilliantly,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden we got in this weird political world, and the show got scared to do things, or they felt they had to push in a certain agenda or something.
yeah,
And when stay keep politics out of movies. That's one thing you can't
well,
combine those two, because
agreed.
you lose the quality of the movie. We're not sitting here thinking, well, at least I'm not. Now, youth of today is different than us old school guys, I will say. But I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, that's politically bad, or it's like it's just a good show and I understand it. So it's like there's no point in having to add something that's nonsensical just to push a political agenda, in my opinion.
Yeah, because the writers of the show are trying to make it more like, hey, see me, see who I want you to see, instead of like, hey, how should this story go, you know? And they're putting themselves in the position of the person of the story of the character, and it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work. It's disgusting.
Well, it would work if
Because
you
whether you
started
agree
the
with them
show
or
like
not,
that.
you're gonna just
Yeah, if the show
yeah.
started like that and we knew that's how it was from the beginning, fine. No, I have no issue with it. But when a show's gone on for several seasons and there's no agenda behind it, and then another season comes along and it's like all of a sudden there's an agenda in it, and they just keep like
Yes.
don't. It's just weird, It's totally weird to do. I don't understand it. I don't know why people get that in their heads. It's like
The
maybe it's
Last of Us
money
was one of the
or their
craziest
sponsors or
examples of that,
the show,
and I know,
the show or
yeah,
the
I know
game.
Toots probably never seen that the
No, I
show.
did not watch
They
it.
made the show
So
after
tell
it.
tell me though.
It's well, I mean, we don't have to divulge
Oh,
into
okay.
that,
All right. That's
but
too deep. All right, got it.
yeah, it gets a little
It just turned
crazy.
off. Gotcha.
Where I mean, but so it's just where writers are trying to, instead of writing a good story, they just want to make a movement, and then
Yeah.
in
So,
turn you just
yeah,
don't
and I
watch the
think
show, I
yeah, I
guess.
think that anytime you add in political ideologies directly, you damage the artistic integrity of the show, because we don't want to think about that kind of stuff when we're
Hmm.
watching movies. We want that freedom to, like, be those characters or feel that without being reminded that, oh yeah, like, this thing's going on in the world, or this is going on, or everybody's fighting. I mean, that's not what you want to think about when you're, immersed in a movie.
What do you want to see in a movie, Toots? What's your favorite aspect of what makes a good movie, I guess? Could you narrow that down?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to, obviously, quality actors can make almost any bad movie good. If you have a high quality actor that understands the role and knows how to make it their own and not make it exactly what a director wants. Now you have to stay in line, but and then the other side would be um, a good plot, whether it be comedy or romance or intrigue or horror. The plot has to, and it doesn't even necessarily have to make sense, as long as it's good. As long as the plot's deep enough, a lot of times it can have little holes in it here and there, and you don't even really care because it's just so good, and it draws you in. Any movie
Yeah.
that draws you in and keeps you there on that suspense and then holds you right there where you're like, no, I have to wait and see what's going to happen next. That's what makes a good movie. Even more than anything, I think that
Have
quality
you
right there.
seen Have you seen the new Naked Gun?
No, I have not, but I have seen all the originals.
Okay. Well, I normally I would say do not watch it. However, I think that you should give it about 15 minutes and then you can turn it off. And
It's that good,
that's
huh?
I mean, yeah, I mean that's just I don't know what's happening, whether it's on purpose or what, but millions of dollars are being spent and there's no progress being made. There's been no progress in Hollywood for the last 20 years. No story writing, no new like we get a new Roadhouse and it's just like, money
Hmm.
thrown at it instead of like I don't want a new Roadhouse
Yeah.
because that's the Swayze train,
Now,
you know?
granted, I think Roadhouse, though, the new one, great movie, right? Great movie. But I do agree with Keith. different movie. You didn't have to say we're remaking Roadhouse with that movie. That movie could have been named anything. Basically, what they did was they said, let's use this name for its notoriety, for its popularity, not for the movie accuracy. And I get that. That's why they did, because they wanted to build it up as something that it's not exactly that. That movie could have done its own thing. It could have been called The Bouncer. It could have been called whatever. You could have named it anything, and the movie would have still been just as good as the movie was, with zero relation to the Roadhouse movie. So I think that they did that just for the branding of it, and not necessarily as a homage to the actual Roadhouse movie, which in itself
Yeah.
is a great movie. Also, the original Roadhouse, absolutely
Yes.
fantastic movie.
But then they're also hiding from the sways because, that's a different time. And, that was during a time politically where it wasn't popular in Hollywood to, reference, you know, that type of culture, Americanism,
Mm.
Americano,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just,
Yeah.
that's where I think that it's going to take a turn in 2026.
Well,
Just like
you can
today.
tell that the what do you call that? The diversity grew in the new Roadhouse for sure.
Yes.
The diversity of
And
characters.
that's fine.
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely.
and
Again, because
that's
I think
fine,
Roadhouse was
but
a good movie. It's not. I'm not
it's a
knocking
different
that, but
movie,
it's not Roadhouse, right? Exactly.
you know? So it just all around different. So, and that's someone who just, I watched Roadhouse and it just, I like the movie, but it's not like I'm going to single it out or anything like that, but it is the Sways. So respect. But for them to just be remaking it like Naked Gun, I just couldn't get over that. How I couldn't even, I turned it on and, I'm getting, I'm at, I'm just chilling, and it's hard to get through.
Well, I
I
don't know
just
who
couldn't
the
even do it.
character is, but we have to remember that Leslie Nielsen was
Liam Neeson.
one. Oh, well, that would explain that. Leslie Nielsen was one of the greatest comedic actors of our time. I mean, he was brilliant. He had a technique. It was his. See, Naked Gun was built around him.
Yes,
Police Academy, was it the
his
Police
comedy
Files or
style.
whatever the first one was called? Well, I can't remember what the first one's called. Anyway, it was built basically around his style of comedy. And instead, now it's somebody else trying to impersonate that style of comedy. And I'm sorry, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't want to knock it, but there's no way Liam Neeson is Leslie Nielsen in the comedic world. It just they're not the same. They had their own lane. You didn't see Leslie Nielsen doing hardcore action movies, and there's a reason, is because he was a more reserved comedic
But Liam
dramatic
Neeson
actor.
is also one of the best. Like we need him versus John Wick, you know.
No,
So
it's nothing against Liam Neeson at all. And dude's a great actor. I mean, he's absolutely fantastic. He's just not that role. In my
yeah,
opinion, he's not that. And he may be able to play it. I'm sure he pulled it off because he's funny. He is funny. But is he Leslie Nielsen funny? And then, too, you got to remember OJ was absolutely a riot in those movies. I know a lot of people don't, probably don't like OJ at all, but man, besides being obviously crazy, um, he was a great, comedic actor after his football career. So that played well into those movies too, even if you don't like
that's
the guy.
legit.
Yeah.
That's legit. I didn't know. Um, so I mean, it just I agree 100%, and it's just I think with 2026, I think the everybody will get what they want because that's where the money is now. It's what we want,
Mm.
and I cannot wait for the creativity to come through, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be a whole new wave of movies next year. I really do, and it's going to set the culture. And I don't know if it's going to be good or bad or better than what has been, but I'm just hoping for something different because I can't just keep on having lower quality versions of the same thing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like the I think it's Guy Ritchie style movies. Is that Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking
Guy Ritchie.
Barrels, Snatch?
See, I'm telling
Is
you,
that The
I should have
Gentleman? Did
watched
he do
that,
The
dude.
Gentleman as well? I believe.
Oh,
I
I like The
think he
Gentleman.
might have done Revolver.
It's okay.
Um,
Revolver, you like.
yeah, and that's a totally different reason I like that movie. Revolver is not because of the quality of the movie, although it's a fine movie. Jason Statham's a great actor, also.
And you should
Um,
mention Revolver. Mention why you like that because that also was made and set a tone
Gotcha.
that would they make today? How would they even make it today? I don't know.
Revealed a
So
truth that most people don't know or understand about themselves. And it's very deep, you guys. It's very deep and it's very biblical. And you would have to watch the movie and then, I would explain it to you, obviously, once you watch the movie. If you came to me and said, "Hey, Toots, I don't understand. What are you talking about?" Then I could. But basically, biblically speaking, which is the truth, is the truth that I know. Um, it's spot on accurate with what's going on inside each and every one of us. Because the same thing that's going on inside me is going on inside every single person outside of me. We all have the same thing that's going on in our heads. But that movie, they actually told the truth. And I don't know whether they did it on purpose. I have no idea what their intention was because I've watched that movie before I understood. And before I overcame, which is actually what this whole show is based off of, this whole podcast is based off of, is overcoming.
overcoming.
Yeah, and it's overcoming anger basically inside of us is what it is. But not to change because I don't want to get off on a different topic. But back to the movie. Yeah, they revealed a truth that I know now, and the movie totally hit different after I saw it, and now that I know what's going on inside of myself, yeah, it's wild. So it's huge. It's big. It's big for me. It's big for some people, probably very few. But if you guys want to check it out, I 100% recommend Revolver if you guys are ever interested in understanding the truth about what's going on in each and every one of us.
Right. So, and moving back to how would they redo that today? Do you think they could?
That movie
There's no
specifically,
chance. Yeah.
I think it had to have been accidental. It either is accidental or there's
And you see
deeper things going on in Hollywood
that?
than what we always see, right? Because we see like
Yeah.
the surface of what Hollywood, but maybe there's some deeper things going on in there. We
So,
know there is for sure, but I didn't realize that was one of the deeper ones. Like that, I don't know. God works in mysterious ways, so I don't know. That's one of
so
those
I'm
things.
feeling as if they'll make a new version of Revolver next year, but it won't be Revolver. It'll just have the same result, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe the opposite. I feel like
Is
that
that
they may try and take that movie out of existence. I don't think what's going on in the world wants you to know that that movie has what's in it is in it. I think if they find out that the truth is revealed in this movie, they might pull it. And I think a lot of movies might have that somewhat in areas. I think a lot of movies are
that's
based
also
off of a
true.
truth somewhere. So
It depends on who's in control,
that's right.
you know.
Yep. It always depends on who's in
So
control. So
and right now I think that everything is just too expensive to make a good movie and uh everybody wants money.
yeah,
So
what's the risk
it's
reward, right?
really
Because you don't know because they've changed Hollywood so much now. It used to be, a box office sensation, right? Because it was so limited.
yeah,
Whenever you limit
yeah.
something to viewing, you're going to draw more people to it. It's like there's such a more draw to it. When everybody had to go to the movies and
Yes.
you couldn't watch it on TV for months
They've
and
got to
months and
build that
months,
back
they've
up.
got to. There's something to that way of doing movies that made the movies good. Even when you went and you saw a bad movie, you had a good time. You went to the theater, you had this whole experience, and yeah, it was a little bit expensive, right? But it wasn't like out of control like it is now. Now you go to the theater, for two people, you're spending $80 or $100 for a couple of things of popcorn, some soda, and a couple of tickets. I mean, it's insane. But the way it was, we do need to go back to a style of that because that limited who got to see it. You had a chance. Everybody had the chance, but you had to make that opportunity for yourself. Now it's like, oh, I can just turn it on my TV, boom, and watch it. Oh, but wait, that movie's $20 right now. Well, I'll just wait. I mean, it's already on TV. Obviously, it's not going to disappear. There's no necessity for me to watch it now. Back then, it was the movie was out for 2 weeks at the theater. Then it would be 6 months to a year before you got to see it on VHS. If you didn't see it at the theater, you were waiting a long time. And it felt like, I want to see that. There was something to that, I think. And there was something about going out, and hanging out with people, and everybody's experiencing this together. And then when you saw something great, something beautiful, something emotional, the whole audience is seeing it together. And then you feel that from the people sitting next to you. You feel that from your friends that are there with you, or your spouse, or whoever, your children, whatever. You feel that energy. And when it's coming from other families as well as yours, it just hits differently.
So we've got to get number one. We've got to get the movie culture a little bit cheaper, because we can't get families in there anymore. I can't take my family there. You know?
Yeah, that's definitely a
And
big one for sure. I agree.
yeah, so and that's tough, but it's like, what do they do to pull that draw back and pull them back in? And they could build it over time, but that's probably the toughest way to do it. And
And
honestly,
this
they just really need to start putting out good movies, because I think the reason why people aren't going is because they haven't seen a really good movie worth paying for in a long time, because they get so much for free.
Well, there's hardly any new original ideas. And that's one of the topics we're discussing on this podcast is the originality's gone.
That's
Everything's a
what it's going to be.
remake. Everything is something else. They're very limited in that.
Hmm.
So
I think that's going to come in 2026, where it's going to be, fresh, something new. It might be a few of them, but I think that there's going to be some new creative ideas.
yeah.
I mean,
And
there's
what
got to be.
you were just mentioning too, it relates to every single of these last few podcasts that we've done. The automotive industry, the restaurant industry, they're all doing the same thing. The corporate greed is ruining the quality of what the customer is receiving or the consumer is receiving. It's insane. The same thing
Yep.
is happening in Hollywood. The corporate greed is becoming so high, and the care for the consumer, because you guys will eat anything, is what they think. It's
Hmm.
ruining really putting in that time and effort and doing quality things and taking big risks. Hell, we might have to take a huge risk. We could lose millions and billions of dollars, right? But we're still going to take that risk because of our artistic integrity. And then it would become, and even
Yes.
when it wasn't good, it became something huge. A la, look at Fight Club, a great example. Complete flop at the box office. People absolutely hated that movie because they didn't understand it. And then this subculture started to understand what was really going on in that movie. And they were like, wait a second, we love this. And it became one of the biggest cult classics of all time. So you can't always go off of that. You have to have that risk. You have to be able to say, you know what? Let's just take a chance. And when you regurgitate the same idea over and over and over again, that's not taking a chance. And that is kind of how, all of society is going right now, where we just regurgitate the same thing over and over and over again. And that peak of originality of all these original ideas and original things happening seems like that star's going out and getting dimmer and not coming back. And it's like we hit it right there in that 80s, 90s, early 2000s era where all of
Yes.
this originality and these brilliant ideas and all this great stuff, especially when like Hollywood
Hmm.
and other areas,
Which I think is going to happen in 2026.
and maybe, and it needs, but I think a big one is getting people to start doing more independent things. And I know
Hmm.
we've talked about a lot. I really like what
Well,
the movies like Mel
if I
Gibson's
could,
producing now and making.
oh boy, Fat Man was great. Fat Man's the greatest Christmas movie if you've never seen it.
You
It's
guys,
worth the buy.
I know that everybody was like, "Oh, that guy's crazy," but no, he's way,
He's spitting hot fire.
yeah, he's way
Dylan,
brilliant.
Dylan, and Dylan, and Dylan, and Dylan.
He's way brilliant. It's just that he was living in a place where you're surrounded by evil, and that gets to you. And then next thing you know, when if you're surrounded by anger all the time, anger comes out of you. You're not going to be at peace and at rest
Yes.
if you're just surrounded by anger, if you have that anger in you. So it's going to come out. And the same thing was going on with that. And now you see he's broken away And by doing that, he's able to make epic movies. I mean, and
Hmm.
we may not agree, obviously, on religious based thought, but The Passion of Christ, I mean, that became one of the biggest movies of all time. It outdid so many movies. And why? Why would that happen? Why would that be so big from someone who's so hated, especially the way that, the community kind of outcasted him and was like, he's not even a good actor or whatever. It's not always about that, but it's about being able to have that. And I think if we put that back into the hands of the creators, some of these actors that are brilliant creators too, then we can maybe draw some of that back in too. Because I mean, those are some the Sound of Freedom. Um, let's see, like you said, Fat Man, even Fat Man. Even the offbeat, funny movies that he did. I mean, there's just a certain more brilliance and entertainment behind that than a lot of the new movies that are coming out from big names. From big names. So also too, I'm not very into like the whole um overdoing of all these like superhero style movies. I loved superhero movies. Don't get me wrong. I like all like Marvel and DC, but I liked them in the way that they were few and far between. Like they would make a great movie, and then like Superman. You made Superman. You didn't have to make Superman and then DC and then DC Universe and then all these other characters. You didn't have to do that.
Henry Cavill's Superman. Everyone knows it.
Well, Christopher Reeve
Why did they
did
make it?
did great with Superman when he was in his day. I think Henry
I
Cavill
mean,
did
today,
absolutely
you know,
fantastic. I totally like what he did. I like his Superman. I like his style. He's great. He has a great look. So it was great. I think
him,
Dean Cain even did a great job of Superman on the
yeah.
television series, whatever it was called. I can't remember. The Adventures of Lois and Clark or something. I can't remember what
Okay,
it's called.
something we need to talk about, right? Henry Cavill in The Witcher,
Right. Never
right?
haven't seen it, so I can talk about it, but I haven't seen it. Just to be clear.
Let me say, one of the best acting pieces ever from him, ever.
I have
So
heard good
good.
things. Absolutely. I have heard very
It's
good things about it.
absolutely phenomenal because he loved it. He loves the game, he loves the lore, and he loved acting in it. And so,
Is that why they got rid of
and
him?
he does that. Oh, well, yeah. And they replaced it with, everything. Like they replaced it with themselves. The writers were like, hey, let's put ourselves and our ideas in this movie,
Mm.
in this show, and let's not even, let's kick him entirely out of the show and just do something different, because the Witcher season 1 and 2, I think it's with him, man,
So
can't
did he
beat it.
do something to Hollywood? Because it seems like that's multiple things now they're
Probably.
pulling him out of the roles of Superman, The Witcher. And let's
Yeah.
be honest, I would say he's probably one of the best at those roles of all time.
Yeah.
I
You
mean, we
know
can
that
argue the finer
they're not
points,
gonna
but
not make money,
I can't imagine a better Superman. You could name a lot of people, but I can't think of one person that I would be like, oh, he's going to be way better as Superman. And that goes even back to like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I thought that was a joke. And then you watch the movie and it's like, I was like, all right, actually they did do a good job of making that character into Spider-Man. And then I didn't really understand the Garfield kid afterwards. And I know it's Amazing Spider-Man. I know it's kind of different or whatever. I'm not big into the Marvel Spider-Man universe. I don't know exactly. So I'm sure somebody's going to be like, oh, there's a reason or whatever. But, it was like they changed it unnecessarily, maybe, or they just oversaturated the market with Spider-Mans or something at that time. And that was kind of the start of the oversaturation. And then they started doing it with kind of every movie and they just started overproducing them. So I think when you do that, it takes the thrill out of it. I think they've made so many Marvel Avengers movies. I don't even know which one's which anymore. I can't tell. I can't determine between all these Marvel movies. Like, is it an Avengers movie? Is it an Iron Man movie? Is it a Doctor Strange? Is it Spider Man? They're all so intertwined that you can't even tell what's going on. And then they've just gotten insane with all the multiverse and all this other stuff that they're doing, which is, it's comics, so it's fine. It's just not my style, so that's why I don't watch anymore.
I mean, and you say there's no creative ideas left. Um, but that's where AI come, and I think that's where I think that they'll be able to solve stuff where, you throw enough money at
I
it,
don't know. I
and
don't I
it's
don't
not even
trust
that.
AI, so
I don't trust AI either, but it's more like we've had so many bad things for so long that like it's pressure that builds up, and like
Right.
let's say
But
like
less is more, right? I mean, one of the things that comes with that is oversaturation. If they were only
yeah.
making movies, if they were making less movies and making it more, about seeing, the best of the best, then that would be it. But it's like they're trying to make every movie like the top, and there's just so many of them.
Yeah, because is it more like beneficial for them to like just trend online or sell merch,
Mm-hmm.
or is it more beneficial for them to go like number one on Amazon,
Mm.
or and how do they go number one on Amazon without releasing it for free, or like, or whatever, I don't know,
Yeah. When's the last time
because
you
I
even
know.
thought about going and waiting in line to see a movie?
When's the last time you've seen a pay for movie trending number one on Amazon?
Well, I don't watch the
Like a
movies
movie
on
you had to
Amazon,
pop.
so I don't know.
Well, I know, but I don't think that the trending ones are always going to be free, right? Because more people watch those,
Okay.
and less people are going to pay for a movie now. It takes a lot for people to pay for a movie. And Toots knows me, not me, dude.
Yeah.
If he recommends a movie, dude, I'm locking it into my Amazon Prime so we can watch it anytime.
Absolutely. And
You know?
I've always been of the idea that, get what you can for free if you can get it. So basically every movie is available on the internet if you dig deep enough. You can find a low budget
Yeah.
clip of that movie somewhere to actually view it if that's all you care about. It just may not be the highest quality. I mean, that was a big thing
Yeah.
in the early 2000s was you know, recording movies in theaters and then posting it on websites. So they were just
Yeah.
using
Oh
like their
yeah.
camera phone,
I
real
remember
low
on some
quality.
websites you had to, it'd be like, oh, you click on this link. Oh, no, it's camcorder. Yeah, click off this one. I'm looking for the HD one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some of them were only available that way. If you wanted to see a new movie in the early 2000s, you were watching it, bootlegged on a camcorder. Absolutely hilarious
Yeah.
too. I mean, I thought it was funny, but it's not like it's not like the whole world's doing that. So I just think that a lot of that comes too with the amount it costs of watching movies. So when it was cheaper, you didn't have to resort to those things as much. I mean, imagine going back. I think I remember going to see a matinee for $3.25 when I was younger.
Yeah.
If you could take your kids to a movie for $3, I mean, would you not do that way more often instead of
Yeah.
$13 per kid? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
$13, the whole
13 for them,
family's
20
going.
for me.
Yeah,
And
$13, the whole
then,
family's going. I mean, I don't think that
popcorn,
I don't
26.
suggest parents do this day and age, but my parents used to drop me off at the theater to see a movie. Like, we'll go ahead. We'll see
Yeah,
you.
you can't
We'll
do
see you
that.
when you're done. I don't know if you can do that
Can't do
anymore.
that no more.
You can't do that anymore. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used to get dropped off at the mall with my sister and
Definitely.
my cousin.
Oh, absolutely. And by the time I was 14, I was getting to the movies on my own.
And they were like 17-year-old girls,
Yeah.
and I'm 14,
Oh, well, I think
we're
I was
just
talking.
walking around freaking Haywood Mall. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to the theater
it's
younger than that.
insane.
I think me and I
You
think
give us each $50 and we'll see you later.
if I remember, let's see, me and Ralphie, I believe, went and saw Big Trouble in Little China at the theater in like 87, maybe 88. I couldn't have been
Jeez,
older than
dude.
6 or 7 years old. And I mean, by ourselves in there, no parents,
6 or 7?
something like that. Yeah. I
You're
can't remember
insane.
when Big Trouble in Little China came out, but we went and saw it at the theater. I do remember
No
that.
wonder they're snatching up kids over in Hollywood.
And we went, well, this was here. So This wasn't even out in LA back then. But and then I also remember, I think, was it Ralphie? I think we went and saw the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which, you guys, let your kid, if you haven't had your kids watching that, man, that is something that you'll never see again. Men in costumes doing the work. They had Jim Henson come in and make Splinter out of like a puppet. And they had like, I think it's like 8 or 10 people operating him to make him work. Someone was running like his arms, his eyes, his mouth. It was all different people. And these are things that were, this is why those movies have that look of realism that movies today don't have, that CGI took from movies. And even though now you watch it, you're like, oh, well, you can kind of tell that's fake. Well, yeah, TVs have advanced so far. Obviously, you get a much better picture. You can see a lot more of the flaws. But there's that style with that guys in costumes doing the actual acting part. It was so different. And that's what made that movie really good. So, definitely check that out if you haven't seen. I know it's silly to the original, but there's just something different about how they did that one as opposed to the newer styles.
Damn,
Yeah. Good movie.
I agree.
Good times.
Yeah, it's hard for me to sit down now and like I want to watch a movie like when I get bored at work or something, but it's hard for me to sit down and pick a movie based on a thumbnail, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
or a description. And if I do click on a movie, most of the time it's like, oh, no, like it's just not interesting,
Hmm.
it just isn't. It's like, okay, the show The Patriot, right? I talked about it before on this podcast, and
The show or the movie?
it's the show.
Oh, okay.
The movie's great too.
Gotcha. I don't know
That's
about
another
this. I don't know
Melody.
about the show.
Yeah, that's the one I told you. Once you go more than halfway, yeah,
Oh, right, right,
it's
right, right.
further
I
to go
remember.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I remember that.
yeah. Just everything about it was written so well. Like by the end, he's so damaged, and he's so just like he's half blind, but he's supposed to go shoot this guy, and he ends up shooting this kid next to him on accident. He's like, "Fuck," and just like he just has to accept it and move on, and
Yeah.
accept things as they are and move on. And it's a real interesting show, But you have to, it's just one of them things where it felt like a new idea to me because it was James Bond. It was clandestine show, but it was witty. It was funny. He jumps off a building and he's like, "You got to land on on your most protected organ, which is your head." So he like jumps off this building, lands on his
Nice.
head. He's like, "It's gonna knock you out, but at least you won't break anything. And you'll be able to leave and you'll live."
I mean, that's a perfect
And
example. I'm
so,
glad you mentioned Bond. How about James Bond being able to remake basically the same movie with slight variations over and over and over, and we still love it? That is the kind of creativity that you need in movies. It's where you have a character, you're not too far out of the realm of reality. We love the character. We love the character so much multiple actors can play the character. And we can argue over what actor plays the character better, but I don't think we can argue that every movie has its own quality about it. Every one of them are good in their own way.
yes,
So that's a style of movie, and I think there's very few movies that have that quality where they can remake it over and over again and it still be, basically as good. Now, I will say the last couple, maybe they're getting a little bit, wild, but visually they look amazing though. Visually, all the new Bond stuff, it looks great. But they are starting to stretch a little bit, and I don't know what's going on with the new Bond stuff anymore, but I know that was starting to get a little weird too. I mean, I don't know. Why do we feel like, what is it in our minds where we say, "Oh, well, there's something wrong with this movie because a man has played that role the whole time." I don't get that mentality. The role is for a man. It's like there's
Now,
no need to have to change that. If there's another movie that someone wants to make and it has that type role, but to come and
I
say,
mean,
you have to change because we need a feminine side or a woman side in that movie, it was never intended for. I don't think those movies were
yeah,
intended for women, no matter what.
no, because
Not the
the
acting,
biggest
but the
argument about
viewing.
James Bond, the biggest argument about James Bond is who's the best James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever it's just, I don't know, man, it's hard
It's
to
like the
envision
John
your
Wick
head,
ballerina
you know.
scenario, right? And I haven't seen ballerina,
Yeah,
and I haven't seen the new Bond. So if the ladies did a good job, I'm not knocking the ladies. Their acting abilities are, I'm sure, spot on. That's not it. the
Charlie's Angels.
the idea is that the these roles were made for that character, and just because someone says, well, we need something, doesn't mean you have to change what we have. Let them make something else new if that's what they want to do or whatever. So that's fine. I have no issue with that. But what were you saying about
You know
Charlie's
who would
Angels?
have done a great yeah. I was just saying Charlie's Angels was a good uh like time for women action flick,
Yeah,
but
right. A
it was
great
also
movie,
yeah,
and women were the stars of it. There was no need to put men. That would be like us saying, "Keep." That's a great point. That'd be like us saying, "Oh man, we need men playing those roles." I never once thought that, not for 1 second,
hmm
my whole life. In fact, Keith just saying that is the first time it's even come to my mind that would be the same
yeah.
correlation as us saying, "Get rid of those." That's dumb. Like
Yeah, I want
we
three
need
men
men
in
in
there.
those. That's silly, you guys. That role was
Three
made for those
big
women,
men.
and they did a great job, and it's a great movie. I wouldn't want to change it for anything. That is
Yeah.
perfect the way it was. No, great point, Keith. Great point.
Lucy Liu.
Yeah, great job. I like that.
Yeah. So I just think that it's it's hard to change a movie's course, but when it comes to movies like James Bond and Charlie's Angels, it's those movies are set upon the culture that they create themselves with. So whenever you take that and you take a hard left turn or a hard right turn, it don't matter.
Yeah.
But you're changing that culture,
Yep, that's right.
and that's what people turn away from.
Yep,
It's like, hey, that was my
that's right.
movie. That was my James Bond. So it makes it a little tougher to swallow nowadays because the writers are just so freelance to just put themselves in the movie, and some of your favorite movies don't have the highest budget, so then they end up having to push certain agendas to get passed. You don't know what happens behind the scenes, but that's what it feels like. So I
Well,
don't know.
no, that's definitely what it feels like. No, that's definitely. I was just checking.
Yeah, no, it's I just think that we're going to make a turn because everything has been so bad for so long that you can't push down creativity for long. And the more you push it down, the longer you push it down, then it's going to spring up just as fast.
Yeah.
And when it does, you're going to have creativity like you've never had it before. And I think that's next year.
But I think we may have it
Because
spring up from
yeah,
somewhere else than where it's coming from right now.
they've pushed down Americano and pushed it down for the last 10 years, and it 10, 20, 30 years just about,
We're going to see
and
an
I
exodus.
don't think it's going to happen anymore.
We're going to see an
I think it's
exodus
going to
of Hollywood style stuff, and we're going to have an onslaught of independent type
i.e.
stuff.
You ready for this example?
Yes.
Cat Williams buying
Yes.
his own Air Force base,
Yeah. You're going to see a lot more of
and
that kind of
making
stuff.
movies, making his own movies
Yeah.
because Hollywood blackballed him.
Yep. He
And
said
Cat Williams is hilarious.
one of the best comedic actors of all time. I would rank him with Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Red Fox,
Yes.
right? I would put him right there with all of those comedians, right there next to him. Absolutely hilarious. Dave Chappelle, I think he's
Bernie
right
Mac.
there with Dave Chappelle. Bernie Mac, absolutely. So
You know.
I think,
Yeah, and he's one of my top people that I laugh at.
yeah.
Whenever
Mhm.
he speaks, or I laugh with. Whatever he controls the conversation, and it's so amazing to watch.
Yeah.
And just now that he's going to have the ability to create, and he hasn't had that before, just like that's what I'm saying. It's about to pop, and
I
then you're going
agree.
to have these movies that are just hilarious and culture changing because they speak truth,
Yeah.
because they can finally speak the truth, because comedy's in truth,
Yeah.
and
I mean, another,
that's what these movies have been lacking
yeah,
is
in
truth.
that tradition, Ice Cube doing Friday was one of that style of movie.
Yeah,
You know, that
yep,
original one, and even the subsequent ones were all great, but that original one was way out of the boundary of most movies, and nobody knew whether that was going to do anything or not. And it was huge, and it was amazing, and it was only because it was real. It felt like you were that character, right? Like I like, man, I can relate with all of this. This is
hmm
this I lived on, I lived in that area where the movie was taking place, but still it just felt like that could be, any of us hanging
nice.
out with our friends, having a good time. We all have that mouthy, smoky friend. We all have
Yeah,
that
because
that
a
big
movie, it
worm,
doesn't matter who you are, it just puts you in that place.
the
It just
ice
puts
cream
you in
truck
their
driver is
shoes.
really weird that pulls up, I mean, just all of that stuff.
Yeah,
They over exaggerated it, and that's what made it funny, but that was real. And there was a realness to that. And that's why that movie was so popular. And that's why that movie will be ever
yep.
always be popular. So,
And lately, you haven't been able to step in the character's shoes because it's the writer filling them.
yeah. But we can't
Because
make that
there's no
movie
character.
anymore, though, right? That's one thing we have to understand also is when to say when. And
No,
let's talk about like Beverly Hills Cop. 1 and 2, absolutely fantastic, right? Great movies, perfect, exactly what they should have been. 3 and 4, what happened? Like, stop, you guys. When sometimes there's no need to do it. I know that this is another spot where greed comes in, where everybody says, "Oh, we got to have that." But if you're gonna damage the quality, why do it? Leave it alone. Like, let that be what it was, and then we move on. Now, I haven't watched the newest thing, but I've just heard negative reviews about some of the whatever the latest one was called. I can't remember. I don't think it's called Beverly Hills Cop anymore, but whatever. And even the third one was, borderline, right? It wasn't that bad. It's not like it was, but compared to the first two, though, you know what I'm saying? Like if you had only seen the third one and that was you just saw it, you'd be like, all right, that was all right. Like, yeah, I watched it. It's fine. I'm not gonna watch it again, but it's fine. But the first two, man, it's like damn near every time they're on, I'm watching them. I see them on TV. I'm like, oh yeah. Same thing with like the diehards, Although I don't think the diehards, although they got a little different, I don't think they were bad per se. So
no,
I
they
think
never
they
got
were,
bad. I mean,
they
anything
were
Melly
always
G
good.
style is good.
Yeah, they were always good. So, oh yeah, like the Lethal
Somehow
Weapons.
Melly G cannot make a bad movie, dude. He doesn't miss. I mean, Payback. You know,
That's one of the best movies. That may be quite an underrated movie. That is a really
I
good
mean,
movie.
yeah. And like I said, I just spend the time and I'll be like, okay, let's watch all the Mel Gibson movies on Amazon.
Yeah.
You know, and if I really like Melly G,
What
so
about
I'll
Bird
buy
on a
his
Wire?
movies. You
You
know,
watched Bird on a Wire?
no, it must have not come up yet. So,
Oh, you got to watch that one. I did a
all right, I will.
short on one of my things from the song that was made.
Oh, the dude walking across the telephone
Yeah,
pole.
yeah, yeah, Bird on the Wire. But anyway, but the
Yeah,
movie is absolutely fantastic. It's that 80s funny, goofy, crime comedy movie.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's a good time. Mel Gibson, Goldie Hawn, hilarious. And they're great together too. They're just funny. They have a chemistry where the between them they create good humor.
yeah.
And another great one too, her husband, Kurt Russell. I think he's one of the best actors of all time. Also, I really like.
So I get him with I don't know why, but I get him confused with Gerard Butler so bad.
Oh, there's quite a difference between those two.
It's quite a difference, dude.
I
But for
wonder.
some
I
reason,
wonder
dude, I
what.
see the
I wonder
same
what
person.
crosses over. What made that crossover in
I
your
don't
mind?
know.
I
I
mean,
don't know, dude.
anytime you think Kurt
What
Russell,
is
just
Kurt
think
Russell in?
Tombstone. He's fucking Wyatt Earp, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'll never make that mistake again, dude.
Right. There it is. I knew that would
Yeah,
get you.
I'll never make that mistake again, dude.
No way, man. Tombstone, one of the
I'm
best
so
movies of all
sorry. I
time.
remember that now. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Yeah, yeah.
You
All right,
tell him I'm
got it.
coming and hell's coming with me. Yeah, absolute classic.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer. Oh
Yeah,
man, that movie was so good. Sam Elliott.
nice.
Um, what's that other gentleman in it? The other brother. I can't think of his name right now. Bill Paxton. Yeah, Bill Paxton.
The Mighty Duckman.
Hey, The Mighty Ducks was an all
Uh,
right movie too. There's another example of just how you can make movies that were good then, that weren't didn't take a lot of like out of the box stuff to make it good. Just throw a bunch of kids in there
yeah,
playing hockey, you know? Put them with Emilio Estevez. It's going to be funny.
yeah, exactly it, dude.
I think both
Oh,
both the Sheen brothers I think were really great actors. I mean, Men at Work is one of my favorite movies. Fucking Young Guns, one of my favorite movies. They were both in together. You know, they did quite a few, several that I can't think of right offhand, but
I do like Young Guns.
yeah, that's a really good movie. Another one that they just don't try and remake that.
I feel like I don't have enough Charlie Sheen, like young Charlie Sheen movies. I need more young Charlie Sheen movies.
More young Charlie Sheen movies. One keeps popping up on my feed, and I was thinking about watching it. I think it's No Man's Land. He's a undercover cop, and he
Oh,
goes in and a ring
yep,
of car thieves or something. So I'm probably gonna watch that one. I
nice,
mean, but nothing beats
nice.
Beyond the Law.
No, Beyond the
Beyond the Law
Laws.
is an absolute classic. I recommend everybody go watch that. Oh, by the
Oh
way,
God.
true story. Don't forget that about Beyond the Law, dude. That's a true story.
Boy, oh boy, that's really wild.
That's deep though, right? When you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Shit, that's a true story.
Damn.
Dude infiltrated the undercover biker world and busted one of the biggest motorcycle rings and drug rings in history. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Kind of changed something there in that world,
I'll
when that
rewatch it
happened.
again.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So what? So and that's what I'm saying is they've got a lot of stories now that they can write movies about too.
Yeah,
You know, like Blow, where they wrote about Pablo Escobar. They're
great
going to
movie.
write about stories
Yeah,
nowadays. You know,
I mean Johnny Depp,
so what
great actor.
scandals
They
and
did
stuff.
that was a great movie.
Yeah.
We definitely need to get back to that style of creativity and originality and stop just trying to milk everything that we've already got for every last drop. Just start coming up with new stuff and don't come up with anything if you can't come up with new stuff. That's what I say. Just let it sit, let it simmer, let it stew, and stop making subpar stuff just so you're producing something. And don't do that. Keep it the most artistic integrity that you can in it, right? It doesn't have to be good. I'm not saying everyone's going to be a hit. It doesn't have to be a banger. We're going to have some flops. Those flops may come back and be huge someday. We don't even know. But, just go with the true instinct and originality and the rawness of it, and stop trying to cover it up or weaken it or lessen it or have some agenda with it. Like, if there's an agenda in it, that's fine. Make the movie with that and then let that do its own thing, right? That's fine. But don't be forced into it. Don't make something and then change it because of someone else's feeling or something. Stick with your original integrity. Stick with what you guys know. I'd say that Yellowstone had their off season because of that issue right there. Someone stuck their ideals into someone's artistic integrity, and I think it clashed, and I think that's why you had a big delay and there was a lot of infighting going on. And now you see the actors, they're coming out and talking about stuff. It's like, I'm sorry, man. Just go act, you guys. Go act. You're great actors. You're wonderful actors. Do that. Stop being political activists, everybody. It's unnecessary, right? It's not gonna work. So I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah. What do we do about Disney? They have too much money.
I
What do we
mean,
do?
yeah, all those companies like that where they have
They're owned by the
giant
crown.
controls, I think they all have too much. I think that Disney shouldn't be making movies anymore. It's not about
No.
the kids and making kids movies and making a better tomorrow. Now it's about another bottom dollar.
No.
Anytime you get corporate and you get too much money involved, that's it. So We got to go back to, just like with everything else that we're talking about, the simpler times, the more we try and make stuff more technical, and we try and advance technology too much,
This is
it hurts us.
and this is what we need, right? We need movies that pass the buck, efficiently and correctly. And what I mean, like we need a 007 that actually is 007. We need a new Die Hard that actually is Die Hard. And actually is like, like if you're gonna do Die Hard, just do Die
Yep,
Hard.
go with
You
it.
know,
Go all in. I agree completely.
just
Go
do Die
further
Hard.
than what you've done before. Like go even more
Yeah,
of the same things that have worked. Don't try and change what's good. Stop doing that. Stop doing that, you guys, to appease the appeal of a
I would
certain group of
bet,
people. Don't do it.
and we'll
Stick with what's
do,
right.
we'll do something. But I would bet that Toots doesn't make it through 5 minutes of the new Naked Gun.
Well, if I don't, we'll talk about it for sure.
And we'll just try it after this podcast. We'll just pop in there and
Nice.
just boop.
All right. Any final words?
And,
Our time is up here, ladies and gentlemen. What a great time
I
we've
figured.
had. Great conversation. I mean, it just feels like the time's flying here. So, I love it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. It doesn't look like we had anybody questions.
That's
so
all right.
we'll just, we're going to wrap it up here. And we thank you guys for being a part of it and hanging out with us, and enjoy. And we'll see you next
We do
time.
appreciate that big time.
All right. We'll see you guys.